All right. So I kept my promise. I said I was going to get Mandeleon back on the show. Well, he said he was coming on. So we had to make sure we did this. He wasn't able to be on live, but we wanted to pre-record this. And Browns got the win. So I had to get you back on. But how's it going?
It's good, man. I'm doing great. My team's still in it.
All the haters, all the doubters. What you got to say to all them right now?
Hey, I ain't got much to say right now because we just got to get this win right now.
Yeah.
So the way I'm looking at it, it's because for one, nobody think we would be here. And then two, it's like okay, we got KC.
Yeah.
So obviously, that's the team that a lot of people pick to go to the Super Bowl and win it.
Right.
So for us, it's just staying focused, man, and staying hungry, and making plays on all three phases.
Yeah, yeah. Which defense was huge this past game. Which I want you to kind of touch on that, man. Got some turnovers. Steelers tried to come back towards the end, but that defense was really locking down the Steelers offense. So that was huge in that game.
Yeah, four I think it was 5 turnovers total, but I know Ben threw 4 interceptions. And so like I said, just making plays on defense was like huge. And not only that, today we actually going to get a Ward back, so that'd be huge on the defense because it was like for a minute, we had that huge lead, and then they was playing this soft coverage, like this zone soft coverage, and I understood we was just keeping them from giving up the big play, but really it was like it was a little frustrating watching that.
Yeah.
Because they not giving up, so they dinking and dunking all the way down the field,
Right.
right? Which is what Ben would have had to do because he ain't got that. They ain't throwing nothing down the field. He
Right.
really ain't got that arm like he used to have, and so he getting up there.
Yeah.
And not only that, it might not be looking too good for him or the Steelers next year.
Yeah, I agree, and I think too. Which he's been playing around with this for years. Am I going to retire? Am I going to come back? Am I going to retire? I'm going to come back. I think at this point he needs to retire, man, because you're only going to hurt the team more than what you're going to help them, especially when you get to these playoff times. Which he threw the ball 68 times. That was a crazy stat.
They didn't run it.
Yeah, their running game was missing in action. James Conner had 37 yards and a touchdown, but for Big Ben at that age to throw that many times. And then Andy threw 4 picks, like you said. That's a recipe for disaster, anyway.
Right, exactly. So, like you said, not knowing, I'm not too concerned about what they're going to do and what their off season's about, because but it's the division thing,
right?
And being that they was at the top of the division, they could very well easily be at the bottom of the division next year.
That's true.
Because they got like 18 people that got they got contracts coming up. Then they got young cats like that, running their mouth about this and that. It's okay. It's okay that y'all lost. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then you so young, you don't even realize that culture anyway. So you part of the new culture, which is going in the wrong direction.
Right.
And our new culture was going in the right direction.
Exactly.
And I meant to touch on this last time because speaking of culture, it's 2 guys that have a lot to do with it, and that's Andrew Berry and Jim Haslam, right?
Right.
And that's just Andrew Berry just huge. I'm happy for that brother. Just period. Like when he came in, like Haslam bought the team a little couple years back.
Right.
But when they brought Barry in, it just kind of it changed a lot of things because then we really was getting people who they did great with the draft, like, and who we had before, I for some reason his name's slipping me, but he was the reason that we got Kareem Hunt, the other guy, because he was over there in KC. And drafted Kareem Hunt in KC before he came to be general manager with the Browns.
Right.
Because of the little debacle with Kitchens and all of that,
All
and,
of that.
and all,
Yeah.
so they was like, hey man, I'm out of here. But yeah, but definitely, and not only that, somebody else that got a lot to do with the culture and the change of the Browns' attitude is Landry.
Yeah.
You know, Jarvis Landry had a lot to do with that. Because I don't know if you've seen that Hard Knocks. The first year we was on Hard Knocks in that meeting room. And see, a lot of those cats that he was talking to ain't on the team no more.
Gone. Yeah, I
Like
remember that video.
Callaway and some of them young cats, was fast and talented. But
Right.
your mind, your mind ain't on. You like I'm here and then that lackadaisical attitude and all of that. Like if you seen that scene,
Yeah, I
it was
remember that.
they was in the receiving room. He was like, "We ain't doing that here no more." Like
Right.
that,
That
boy. You
and
don't
that's
know how that
that and
touched me right there because I
right.
was like, "That's what we need."
Exactly. And you got these guys that are rookies. Prime example, Trace Claypool. You
Mm-hmm.
brought up that comment he made. Like, this your first year. How are you going to talk trash to a team and this your first year? And then you can say, oh, well, they're going to lose next round. You out of the playoffs, you sitting at home. You had one good year. And honestly, it was you got to say it's luck because Juju was there. Juju was doing his own thing. So he got lucky this year and he had a great year. Can he follow it up next year is the question. But to your point with Jarvis Landry, yeah, those guys, a lot of those guys he was talking to was not there. I think OBJ, which a lot of people trash OBJ, but look, that guy's passion for the team and playing, I think is what's also helped. But yeah, with this team right now, man, y'all look really good for the future. And I'm not going to fast forward because you got this game today, which is going to be major, which I want to get your keys. But I want to go back to the last game. Landry had 5 catches, 92 yards, a touchdown. Chubb had 4 catches, 69 yards and a touchdown, and 76 yards rushing. That's a big thing, having Chubb being able to do both. And Chubb, if he would have played the whole year, he could have possibly won MVP. He could have possibly had 2,000 yards. But
he
he
was in
missed.
the race. He was in the race until that injury.
Exactly.
And like I made the point last time, a lot of people don't realize he missed 4 games.
Exactly. And still had I think he still had 1,000 yards, right?
Yeah, still had 1,000.
Yeah.
And shout out to my man from the crib. My man Kareem Hunt. He's from the, like, I know his dad. Like, you grew up on, his dad. Like, we Facebook friends. Like, you was, what I mean? Like, but he from his dad from the south side of Elyria. I'm from the west side. But but shout out to Kareem, man. Because he didn't have a bunch of yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. And that one where he ran dude over, like when he got hit on the 5, and just that is that type of energy, is that type of spirit, is that type of really wanting it,
Right. That type of mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And I know for him, this game playing KC, with some emotions there because they the ones that drafted him and with that misfortune that he had, the good thing is he was able to come home and the Browns, took that chance and we got him and here and I know but not only that, like I said, my man from the crib. So when you be a Browns fan and you grow up that way, you know what it's like. You know that what fans have been. He's not. And when you think about how old he is, all he know is like not that success. He don't even he's not even old enough to. I mean, not that they say that he haven't heard of these guys or wouldn't know, but I'm just saying at the time, like not as old as I am to remember when there was the old Browns when Kozar and Sipe and any of them. You might have been with Testaverde days, but not those.
Yeah, not those back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. When we had Webster Slaughter and McNeil, Ice Cube, you know what I mean, and just that type of the dog. Look, let me show you my shirt. The dog pound, right?
Exactly.
Let me make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
Top dog, Dixon, Hanford Dixon.
Right. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah,
this hoodie too.
Exactly. And you got the 100% dog pound in the background too.
Yeah. That's I was gonna have a nice backdrop, but that's my backdrop right there.
Yeah, yeah. So when we talk about this past game, and I want to get your feeling, y'all were up 28-0 in the first quarter. Man, that shocked me just because I was expecting the Steelers to play better. Now they ended up trying to come back towards the end, but what was your feeling, man? Y'all was up 28-0 in the first quarter.
Well, I mean, you know what? Crazy as it sounds, but if you a fan like I am, I wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, you up 28 points in the fourth quarter. That's great, right?
Right.
But it's also too much time.
Yeah, Falcons.
The fact that we put up 28 in the first quarter, they could score a touchdown and each the rest of the quarters and then score 2 and 1 and be right there.
Right.
So my main concern was that we continue to put up points and then and then at some point start running the clock a little bit, right?
Right.
But really put up more points because I understood, like I said, I understood when they was playing that soft D and that umbrella defense and all of that. I got it because we're not giving up the deep ball. We're not giving up big plays that might, score in like a minute and 20 seconds or something instead of, you got to have a sustained drive to take some time off the clock. So in that sense, I got it. But like I say, man, it was just, but we kept making plays on defense too.
Yeah.
So, it was one of those things where I wasn't comfortable, but it was also like it's a beautiful thing. Because for one, I don't even think not only in the first quarter, but I can't remember the last time we done put up 28 points on the Steelers, period.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's
So
what I was
better yet, in the first quarter, it was just like, if you're a Browns fan, that was phenomenal. I mean, and then it was the Steelers.
Yeah.
Right? And then every Steelers fan, like, heart just had to be crushed or broken, right? Just
Yeah.
but in the back of their mind, thinking, we're gonna come back. This ain't nothing. Because at that time, people was texting me, calling me, and I didn't want to answer nobody call, do no talking, because I didn't want to be premature.
Right.
Right? Because one of my friends texted me like, "Oh, I ain't even a Pittsburgh fan, but I'm rocking with Tomlin, and a good coach gonna come back." And all. I'm like, man, whatever. Like, but I'm not. I seen it, I read it, but I'm not responding.
Right.
Let me get through this game, just like today. Let me get through this game, and then I'll do all my all my shouting and everything then.
Right. Right.
All
I
my
feel you.
woofing or all my dog barking, I get it out then.
Right. Prime example, which Atlanta fans, they hate this, but they blew a 28-3 lead. Like anything can happen, honestly. Especially when you got a quarterback like Big Ben, he is not as reliable, but him and Tomlin together, that's a pretty tough combination with the two of them.
Right.
But you guys won. So coming into this week, got the Chiefs, which is going to be a pretty big matchup. I think I like the Kareem Hunt matchup just because that's his former team. Very interested to see, how he handles this. He hasn't been in this type of situation, before where you're going up against your former team and everything. But what's the game plan, going into this game? Obviously, going up against Mahomes.
Well, before I get into that, I just want to make one little quick point because it was something that you asked me last week too, and it had a lot to do with this going forward. The one thing I want to bring up is the fact that not only when we beat Pittsburgh the first time, I felt like we got over the hump, but now beating them that second time, like solidify that, and I think it gave us that confidence that we needed going into this game.
Right.
Going into this game with KC. So saying that, I feel good about this matchup. Like really, it's like, like long as we can get some players back, and you got to think about even last week's game, we ain't had a coach there.
Exactly.
Our line was tore apart. We had people that was on the line that Baker didn't meet until that day.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm serious. Like that, like basically that day of that week, they ain't really had no real practice because the facility was closed all the way until Thursday.
True.
You see what I'm saying?
That's wild. Right.
And then knowing Kevin Stefanski was at home in his basement watching the game.
Right.
right, right, with his phone turned off, and because he couldn't have no communication,
Yeah.
like, and then that was another thing, like with the DBs and the defense, we had a whole, we got third string cats off the practice squad in their own D. So anything that's good that we can get back, like I said, Denzel Ward is coming back today. Hopefully we got a little healthier on that line, on the line, and if not, then they got some reps in this week, or whatever. And even with saying that, I don't even think Baker got sacked last week.
Yeah, I was gonna look that up. I don't think he did.
Saying that. So there's a lot, besides just the win, there's a lot of positives that really came out of that game that I think that's really given the players, that's really given us a lot of confidence that we can go ahead and get this win against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and so Stefanski's gonna be back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think he's good, but that had to have been hell for him to be in a basement watching the game. You can't say nothing. You can't tell anybody anything. That had to have been like one of the toughest things. But when they went up 28-0, I'm sure he was smiling. But like kind of like you as a coach, he's probably like, game not over. We still got
I'm still serious.
We still got
like
the
happy
time.
As I was, right, happy as I was, I still couldn't get like they were scored. I was like, wow, like I'm bugging, but still I'm like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Like, don't come here bugging me, asking me nothing.
Right.
It's still a lot of game. So
exactly.
I was like with a coach's mentality, you could probably say, or a Browns fan mentality. But the only thing, like I said, the difference is this year is that those close games, and then we showed it again. Those close games is that we was able to sustain that lead, put up some more points, and be able to get over that hump. Because for years and years, we would have lost that game. For years and years, we don't let people come back, take the lead, and win that game. Because even last year, a lot of those games that we lost, if you took 6 of those games last year, 2 of them we got cheated out of, that they admitted that they had bad calls like the next day. Like it's not just me saying it.
Yeah.
The refs agree that they blew a call, but don't nobody want to talk about that, right?
No.
So and I get it, like that's fine because it's over with. But it was that, and then like a couple other games that we were just that close where we could have pulled it out. But if the record don't say it, don't nobody care.
Exactly.
Which is also was Pittsburgh's issue, like because they squeaked out some games, but the record didn't say it. But then nobody cared. But that's why when nobody really giving them like, I still don't see them really going far in the playoffs because they still doesn't look like nothing.
Yeah, and that was a question that was asked when they were 9-0 or whatever. Exactly. When they were undefeated still, people were like, are the Steelers for real? And nobody could really answer that question because they were squeaking by games. They were winning close games. The running game was not as what it used to be.
Worse in the league.
And the defense is not what it used to be. So all that added up, and it was going to come to a head sooner or later. And the Browns put them in their place. And I think this is, like you said, is a building block for now and the future. Like I had them making the playoffs last year. I think they missed about 1 game. So this year I was like, it's another year under their belt. They got the new coach. You can see how everything was starting to come together. And they only lost 5 games this year, which that's got to be one of the best records they've had. I don't know in how long. Yeah. So that's huge right there. Mm-hmm. Now going into today, the Chiefs are so loaded at every single position. We all know, especially on offense. Defense, they've been in some shootout games, so I'm not necessarily gonna put their defense, and tout them too high. But what's the game plan offensively, especially with Baker and Chubb and Hunt and getting Landry involved?
Well, I think one of the things is like that was kind of shut down last week because Pittsburgh played against that, like that rollout. The rollout to the left that Baker does a lot. I noticed last week that they would send somebody, like say if it was J.J. Watt, they would send somebody, but then they would send like a backup to cover that. So that was something they play. I don't know if KC is going to do something similar, but I know that, but that was like one thing because so we might have had like just a few of those plays, not like that many, but then again, the coach wasn't there to call those plays either.
Right.
We had a coordinator calling those plays. So getting him back in there, I'm sure he got a great plan, but run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, we got something great. To me, it's like it's good to see what they, that they're not scared to throw the ball when plays when you think they're going to run the ball, like a lot of time when they think, oh, we're going to run the clock out, and we're running the ball, and they actually go downfield and make a big play. I love that, right?
Right.
But I still want to see them run the ball more, you
Yeah.
know. um and in good situations where you expect for the, to run the ball, because if you're getting a third and long, then obviously, and well, let me not say that, because a lot of times they getting them real third and long, they'll actually run the ball.
They
It'll be
run the
13,
ball.
and
Yeah.
they'll run it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
When you possibly, and then he'll break off a run for 16 yards and restore the first and be like,
Yeah.
now we
Like, yeah, that's one of those weird things I don't get sometimes. I think they're just playing the easy way or trying to catch the defense off guard. But yeah, Kareem Hunt and Chubb, you got to use them all day long, and don't abandon it. That's the one thing I hate about the Cowboys, which this is a whole nother story. But they abandon the run too soon. Like, you know what you have in Zeke, but you don't use him enough. So having Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I think, is going to be huge today, because you got a 1-2 punch, and like if one's tired, you put the other one in. Oh, you just keep pounding the ball, and eventually they're gonna end up breaking one, because they do, pretty much every game. So that's very important going into this game.
And it's even more important that they do it early, because the fourth quarter, it's like Chubb gets stronger in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
It's like, it's like him in beast mode. Like they, that fourth quarter, like, and then not only that, with the way they play him and Hunt, that rotation is like he got fresh legs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So in the fourth quarter, they both fresh. So in the fourth quarter, they both pounded. But the thing that got to happen is that we gotta, the defense gotta feel worn down. Which means we need sustained drives during the game too.
Right. Time of possession. Run that clock. Run that clock.
Exactly. So and then the more we can run that clock on offense, that's another big thing that we need to do, is be able to keep Mahomes off the field. Keep him and Tyreek Hill and Kelsey off the field.
Yeah.
The more we could do that, and then I know Myles Garrett is like, a little hurt,
Yeah.
but I like to see them put him in different packages, because and not him matching up with the tight end or a slot receiver. They got him matching up with these slot receivers, like playing back. Because other than that, a lot of times you see him on that end, and it's just like the same, and he getting close.
Right.
We need to. I want to see something where they got him, where they're doing some crosses, where they switching some rubs or something, where where they switching that matchup a little bit, where he might be able to get an advantage. Because we got some guys on the other end, so we need to create some disadvantages on that line, so where he can get some opportunities. Because if we can do that, if we can get to Mahomes today, if we can get to him early, it'll change it's gonna change the way the game. It's gonna change the way the game flow.
Right. And the fact is, the Chiefs can be beat. The Chiefs are not that team. I know they've only lost 2 games this year, but the one they
Oh, you did. You froze up on me.
Tyreek Hill, he's burner. I mean, that dude is the fastest guy in the league. But if you can get somehow to, I don't know, interrupt or somehow to try to shut that down, I don't think anybody's faster than him. But you gotta do everything you can in this game, because I think this is big for the Browns, like confidence, like going forward. And it's a big matchup, but it can be done.
And like you say, it's a about our confidence. And I think, like I said, those other games, these last couple games, really gave us that confidence that we need. But not only that, you know, KC ain't really had a bunch of impressive wins either this year.
Yeah, and they've been playing around.
They had a lot of comeback from behind wins.
They've been playing around with teams, and then they wait to the end, and then they take it serious.
So my point is, we can get that, and then having the attitude and playing the way we've been playing, we get that lead when it matters. In the fourth quarter, it's anybody's game.
Exactly. So the game's coming up tomorrow at 3:05 at 2 Central Time. It'll be on CBS. That's a big matchup for tomorrow. Give me your prediction. Give me a prediction on the score.
Oh, now look, let me ask you this.
I know that's hard.
How close was I last time, right? I had 35, right?
Yeah.
And I knew both teams was gonna put up big points. Right. But for this, man, I think we got to put up a lot of points this game too. I'll say 38-35.
38-35. Ooh, it's definitely gonna be a high scoring game, because the one thing about the Chiefs is they can put up points easy. They can put up points just constantly, just because of the nonstop amount of talent that they have. But that's going to be one of the great matchups for tomorrow. So I'm going to write that down, 38-35. And like I said, if they win, which is not impossible, you will be back on next week. And man, we got to play Browns song.
Let's see next week.
That's what we said last week, so it can happen.
Let's see if we can get that for a third charm,
Yeah. But appreciate you for coming on. Glad we were able to make this happen. And hey, tell everybody what you have coming up next week for your shows and for New Max Radio.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, I had a great show last night. If y'all missed it, you could find. I actually did on my Friday Night Live show, and it was. Well, I'm trying to remember what I called it, but it was strictly Southside Bangers is what I called it, and it was just like some hip hop, man, some Southern hip hop, man. So and then Friday Night Live is always a turn up. So we just wasn't number bangers. So that was definitely good. And this morning, Gigi, she had her show, and it was definitely a great show too at 9 this morning. So starting next week on Monday, it'll be Girly Girls World at 8. And then on Tuesday, it's Tasty Talk with myself and Girly Girl.
Yeah.
And then Thursday, we'll be back for another Behind Closed Doors with Mandeleon at 9 p.m.
And the one on Tuesday, listen to it with your wife or your girlfriend. You may learn something.
Hey, that's called. And we welcome suggestions and topics. If y'all, because actually last week's show was a topic that was sent in by one of our listeners, and so we like to somebody got a question, they going through some relationship stuff. Hey man, ask us, and we'll talk about it. Not only we'll talk about it, with people that's that's in the audience and in the chat. They everybody kind of, that's why it's really interactive.
Yeah.
And in our shows and all of that. And I want to say this real quick. This is why about tonight. Happy Founders Day to all the Zetas like my wife, and I can't, and they're just Happy Founders Day.
Yeah.
And because we're actually hosting that one of their events. Me and Girly Girl. So
yeah, and that's important, guys out there. If your wife say you got something to do tonight, you need to reschedule, or whatever. I've been there, done that. You got to pass everything through her, make sure everything is copacetic.
Hey, we're a team, man. That's my queen, man, and
yeah, you got to support.
Yeah, we support it. She support me. I support her when everything she does. So. That's just a good thing. It's not nothing one-sided here, but like you heard her before, like she was ready to go get my little backdrop, but
she was about to get it set up. Yeah, yeah. That's it. That's in relationships, man. It's a two-way street. It's 100 and 100. It's not
Yeah,
50-50. You
definitely.
got to be in all in. But thank you for coming on today. Glad we were able to make this happen. And
yes.
I will see you next week. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. I'm gonna see you next week.
Oh, you made a pick?
I'm picking the Browns in an upset. You got me convinced. I'm picking the Browns in an upset.
All right, man. Let's see what it do. And I'll be hollering at you soon. And once again, man, thanks for having me on the show. I truly appreciate it. And go Browns.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, later.